requires the lowest investment for the amount of customers reached. And what we basically mean by that is that the investment of building a website and putting it out on the internet, along with some of the other things, is more or less a one-time cost where no matter how many people decide to do a search or join the internet community by buying themselves an internet connection, basically what it comes down to is by being on the internet, anybody who joins the internet and becomes a user of the web will then be able to find your business online. Some search engine facts is 92% of the internet traffic is actually set off by the major search engines, which consists of Google, Yahoo, and Bing. Yahoo and Bing actually have a partnership, so that's how they make such a big percentage of the search traffic. The Google search results for the self-storage keyword is actually over 147 million, and in Yahoo and Bing, between 158 million and 292 million, depending on which of those search engines you were referring to. And for the month of September in 2012, the number of searches done for self-storage were 823,000, and the cost per click for self-storage is $4.46. Now, that might just sound like a whole bunch of numbers, and realistically they are, but when you think about it, if 147 million people are online searching for self-storage and you don't have any internet presence, how many of those clicks are going to go to your website? The answer is obvious. It'd be 0. So you definitely want to have yourself a presence on the internet. How are customers finding you? It's very easy to realize that aside from the internet, we still have things such as yellow pages, printed marketing like door hangers and things of that nature. But if you're not tracking your results, how do you know what's working and what's not? When somebody comes through the door and they rent the unit, that's great, but where is that lead coming from? We believe in tools such as website analytics that go on your website in order to track every piece of traffic that comes through, no matter if they directly typed it in or linked off to you from a different website, or through a call tracking phone number, which are basically unique phone numbers that allow you to see when somebody dials this number, that gets logged inside the tracking log. So when you have multiple tracking numbers, it's very easy to determine that this campaign drove 100 clicks, whereas this campaign might have only driven 50. Are you reaching your full potential? There are ways to improve. How can you improve? And that's exactly what I'm going to talk to you about right now. There are ways that we believe can help you improve. Some of them you might already be doing. Some of them you should probably start doing, but here's what they are. You can get website development, which is essentially having a website that is user-friendly and search engine optimization friendly, which we'll get into more in a moment. Search engine optimization is a big one. Search engine marketing, which includes pay-per-clicks, application programming interface APIs, call tracking phone numbers, and mobile websites. Those are all such great terms. I know you've probably heard them many times, at least over the last few years. I'm definitely going to get into more details about those to help people understand why these are important pieces to improve your internet web presence. Website development, one of the few, some of the few key factors you'll want to keep in mind is you want to avoid chaotic mix of colors. You're not trying to give your customers a seizure. That's also why you have no animated or flashy backgrounds. You definitely want easy to read font, clear and concise navigation so people could very easily find what they're looking for, and human-friendly design. If an SEO comes to you and tells you that, I'm putting all this stuff here purely for the search engines, and they're not really thinking about the customer, they're not doing a very good job. You need to deliver a website that's friendly for your customers first, and then the SEO part of it kind of comes afterwards. And you want to make sure you're using the modern look and use of current web technologies. We're not saying that you want a flash website. We're not saying that you need a very intense web app with all sorts of moving things, but you definitely want your website to look like it was built in the 2000s, not in 1995. And people very quickly will pick up on the idea that, hey, this is an old-looking website. Maybe they haven't updated it in a while. Search engine optimization, however, is the way where you can take that website that you got created through web development. Hopefully it's one that is human-friendly and search engine-friendly, and it basically allows Google or the other search engines to crawl the internet, find your website, and then rank you for keywords. The SEO term is described as, methods for being found on search engines. There are various places on the web that you can, or I'm sorry, there's various places on an individual web page that is designed to help your SEO, which is called on-page website optimization. But then you've also got external optimization, which is inbound links, mentions, and different things kind of quoting your website, making it something that search engines such as Google look at and say, hey, that's somebody or that's a website that has a big influence in the self-storage market. And nobody can guarantee #1 position. If somebody's telling you that they can guarantee you #1 position, either they're working directly for Google and they have inside information, or they're quite frankly lying to you. SEOs, especially ones who are good at what they do, can get you first place. It's a reasonable expectation, but if it's a guarantee, I'm not exactly sure how they're guaranteeing it, because they cannot manipulate Google or any of the search engines and make it happen for you regardless. Search engine marketing, however, is a general term that includes all efforts to increase the visibility of your website. This includes pay-per-click marketing, where you have an ad shown and pay each time an ad is clicked, which you normally might have seen on the right side or at the very top of a lot of Google search engine results. Those are run by platforms such as Google AdWords, Microsoft Ads, and Facebook Ads. Those are popular pay-per-click platforms. They're all independent. They don't necessarily intercommunicate with each other, but they all achieve the same type of idea, which is you pay money to get visibility on their sites, and for every click that they deliver to you, you're paying for that click. A good search engine marketing company, or a PPC company in this case, will target keywords that are beneficial to your local business. And what I mean is if somebody's doing a search for self-storage, that's a very vague keyword. You could be talking about self-storage in the United States, in Coral Springs, Florida, in Atlanta, Georgia, or even in a whole other country. If the keywords aren't specific, you might be paying for impressions, which are basically visibility of your ad, that has no relevance. If somebody's in Atlanta and you're in Coral Springs, Florida, and you're showing ads to that person in Atlanta, there's a good chance they're not interested in buying your services unless they're moving to Coral Springs, in which case a better search criteria, which you should rank for, would help make that sale or make that click-through. Application programming interface is more of a daunting word than anything else, but basically what it is a lot of the software, such as SiteLink, have the ability for outside vendors to get data about your sites programmatically. This includes things such as the unit list, which is the price, size, and units that you would have available at any given time. This also includes things such as your online payments and things of that nature. By making use of an application programming interface, especially with these management softwares, you're basically powering your website to pull up-to-the-minute rates and allow your customers to see what your units actually cost rather than what your units might have costed a week ago. The nice part is that when you use this type of system, the management efforts of trying to keep SiteLink up to date and your website up to date eliminates, because the API is doing that for you, but then it also allows you to have full integration so that when somebody makes an online payment through your website, you see it in your software, and if someone makes a reservation, that too will end up in your software. It's a very great way of driving business because it turns the process of working with self-storage from being something conceptual to something that they're actually doing. They're actually reserving and they're actually making payments. Call tracking phone numbers is something I alluded to a little bit earlier, and like I said, it's a phone number that forwards calls to your business and gathers important statistics and information to help make wise marketing decisions. The unique numbers will allow you to keep track of calls by individual campaigns, such as your websites, yellow pages, door hangers, and it collects call data such as length, caller information, and when the call was received. It also records the entire conversation, so you actually have audio of what your employee said and what the person on the other end said. So if you're in a situation where you're trying to train people on great telephone sales, like a lot of self-storage operators are, having the actual call data and knowing what your employees are saying are a great way to improve how you sell on the phone, and that alone can help drive more business because you're closing more deals. And below is a simple image in an attempt to visualize and understand what I'm talking about. You can see that the caller number is displayed here. The caller name is JP Morgan. The extension, in this case, we have the option of new rentals or return customers. This person didn't select anything. And then the campaign is the local website. The call came in on May the 8th, et cetera, et cetera. And you can listen to the call right there, and you can leave notes. So it's a great way of quantifying and understanding how your phone sales are doing, which is something that without tracking numbers, you'd have no idea about. Mobile sites, on the other hand, are something that's been growing really significantly over time. Mobile sites are pretty much a mobile phone optimized version of your website. It is a secondary version that is designed to cater to the customer that is accessing your website from a mobile device such as an iPhone, Android phone, Windows phone, etc. And using smart device detection, you can automatically forward somebody who finds your website from a mobile device to the correct version. So they're not sitting there on a full version of your site looking for a button that says, hey, give me the mobile version. The smart device detection will automatically forward that person to the site so they have the best experience for the device that they're on. Mobile sites design caters to the mobile device's smaller screen and its input differences. Normally you touch a phone, even though you can touch some of the computer screens, it's not as common as what you see on a lot of these smartphones. And mobile site web pages are typically optimized in a way that allows them to load faster on slower internet. At the end of the day, 3G internet is much slower than your typical cable modem, so you're going to have to work around those design specifications. What this all means is that when somebody comes to your website and you do not offer a mobile site version, it becomes a lot more difficult for them to navigate, it becomes difficult for them to find the information, and the load times tend to be a lot slower, which in many cases our research shows that they might bounce away and leave your site entirely. In other words, it's a missed opportunity. But by catering to both the desktop sites and the mobile sites, you're giving yourself a chance for a sale no matter which devices they come from. Summing it all up, website development is the modern looking and easy to navigate website for your business. It's pretty much a crucial element of being on the internet. SEO is tactics for improving ranking and position for search engines and on organic listings. SEM, campaigns to increase your internet visibility, including the cost per click pay-per-click ads such as Google AdWords. APIs are the programming code to deliver up-to-the-second unit information, online payment portals, etc. to make your sites more interactive. Call tracking phone numbers, which are the telephone numbers for keeping track of any advertising campaigns done through a telephone number. And mobile sites are a mobile-friendly version of your website to help cater to the growing mobile website population. Be there in all places so you always have a chance to compete. For additional information, you may call us at any time. That is our phone number, or you can request a free website analysis, and we can definitely help find out if you are missing any of these key aspects to being found on the internet. And with that said, I'll move it on to Ian for some questions and answers.
Great. Thanks, Michael. First question that popped up here is, how can I get a higher search engine ranking for my website?
That really comes down to the search engine optimization I was talking about. I would consult with an SEO firm to do a full analysis on your website, find out what its strengths and weaknesses are, and really get an optimization campaign going to help you rank higher in those organic listings that are available to everybody.
Okay, good. Next question here is, once you begin using SEO, how long until you see improvement in your search engine placement?
Placement itself is an ongoing thing as far as from getting started. Typically, we like to give it 30 to 90 days to really go through the system and have an opportunity for Google to look at it a few times. We've noticed that over time this is becoming a bit faster as the technology on Google and all the search engines improve, but I would definitely give it at least 30 to 60 days for sure.
Okay, next question. What is an organic or natural search engine listing?
Okay, that is basically when you type into the search engines a search request, you get a lot of information back. Some of those are pay-per-clicks, which are the payment options where people are putting up money for specific keywords. Those are not organic. but then you go a little deeper and you get a bunch of pages full of information that's actually there for free. Those are the organic listings, and the reason they're called organic is because regardless of how much money you put up, just by having a website on the internet, you qualify to be ranked in the organic search. How you rank really comes down to how relevant your website is to what the search engine or what the user was looking for.
Okay. Can you guarantee a #1 position in the search engines?
As I said a little bit earlier, thanks for this question, by the way. It's definitely a good question. What it comes down to is no. Google, Bing, and all these other systems, they have their own algorithms. It's all proprietary, and quite frankly, other than a few hints, they don't tell you what the secret sauce is for being ranked #1. A good SEO does a lot of research to try to figure out what it is that helps ranking position or what they can do to improve. But if they're guaranteeing you #1 position, they're pretty much promising you that that's where you'll be. And while it is doable, I'm not sure how they're able to do that when they have no direct influence over the system. It's not something I could guarantee, or anybody really could guarantee.
Okay. What is the monthly budget for a PPC campaign?
PPC campaigns are a little interesting only because on a PPC campaign, the area and the actual key terms are factors that come down to what the cost is. So depending on your geographical area and how much positions you want to be achieving in your pay-per-click campaign, it could cost a different amount of money. But typically we look at a starting price of at least $100, and on average I'd say you'd spend probably $200 monthly on a good pay-per-click campaign.
Okay, and there's a follow-up question I see here is how long does it take to launch the PPC campaign?
For the PPC campaigns, a lot of that work is typically done in the background. You indicate to a firm, hey, I want to be on the PPC. They do. It depends on the firm, but I'd give it about a week for them to do whatever research they need to do. And then once the actual keyword decisions have been made and the two parties, both the vendor and the customer, are on the same page, actually launching the campaign and making it visible on the search engines is a matter of minutes. You hit the button and it pretty much starts showing up. Any other questions, or we're good?
That looks to be it.
Okay.
So,
okay, good question.
If any other questions come in, you can still send them in here through our GoToWebinar site, and we can forward those over to Michael and he can respond. But in conclusion, I want to thank you, Michael, and thank you all for joining the webinar. Now being storage facility owners and managers ourselves, we found this has really benefited our facilities. We use the product ourselves. So if you'd like more information about this webinar or upcoming events, please visit www.thesboa.com. And thank you all again for attending, and look forward to having you on another future webinar.
Thank you for attending. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye-bye.